Okay, this is a Barracuda. It's made of mostly of wood, and it was designed by Geoffrey Siers back in the mid-70s. He built one of these things. He built the prototype and took it to Oshkosh, and that year he won the Best New Design Award.
And that was about what, 1976?
1976,
Yeah.
He told me it took 3 years to build it, which doesn't seem like a lot of time because it's a plans-built airplane. Every part on this plane had to be made by hand.
And it's fully retractable?
Yeah, it's retractable gear. Can take engines up to 300 horsepower. Mine has a Continental IO 360, 210 horsepower, constant speed prop, and it cruises about 165, 170 knots. It's a delightful plane to fly. Geoffrey Siers, who designed the plane, was an engineer from an aeronautical engineer from England, and he was in the RAF, and he flew Spitfires and Mosquitoes and the early British jets, the Venoms. Then he came to the United States and worked for Douglas, and then he worked for Boeing. And when he was working for Boeing, that's when he got the idea, I guess, to build the Barracuda. And he sold plans, and it was a very popular airplane, but not many of them were built because it was so labor intensive to build these things. Now this particular airplane, the end number is 85 UC. 85 UC.
We'll go look at that now. We're figuring that out. Let's look at this.
Uniform Charlie. 85 Uniform Charlie. Now, I asked the heirs. I said, "What is the significance of that N number?" And he said, "Well, UC stood for Urban Cote, who was the original builder of this plane. And 1985, or 85 was the year that he thought he was going to fly this thing. Well, he started building it in like 1976 or 7, and I think he got prostate cancer, and he realized that he didn't have enough time left to finish the plane. So he sold it. He sold it to Ken. Oh gosh, a guy up in Paradise, California. Paradise was the town that completely burned down.
Right.
And Ken was building an RV-12 and trying to finish this up, and he finally thought that was probably too much for him, so he sold this one, and I bought it and brought it down here, and then the whole town burned up, so I got it just in time.
Save the airplane.
Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, 1985 was the year he thought he was going to fly. I brought it down here around 2005, and 2015 I finally flew it. So 30 years after the date he thought that he was going to fly it.
And you said you had another one?
Yeah, I owned I bought the prototype from Geoffrey Siers.
Oh.
I saw it on eBay and I bought it, and I had some problems. I had a couple landing gear problems, and the second one, the first time I rebuilt it, the second time I said, the heck with it, I'm done. And then I started looking for another one, and I found this one. And this particular one, I could see immediately that it was built with such quality. I mean, these are all different, and Geoffrey Siers used to say when he'd go to Oshkosh and he'd see these planes that people had built, he he said it was so interesting to see how different they all were.
Huh.
And,
So this is wood with fiberglass over wood?
wood. It's wood. It's no fiberglass.
Oh.
It's coated with Dacron and silvered, so that protects the UV from getting to the wood. And yeah, it's all wood.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And let's walk around it, and then we'll look in the panel. How's that, in the cockpit?
Okay. Sounds
Just
good.
do a quick walk around. Well, it's a zoomy looking thing.
Yeah.
It looks fast just standing still.
Yeah, it does. It gets a lot of comments because wherever I fly it, because people have never seen a Barracuda.
Well, that's why I thought it'd make an interesting video, because this is a rare airplane.
Yeah. It's got gull wing doors. And it's got a panel, it's got the old steam gauge panel, because that's all there was when Urban Cote was building this.
Yeah, today we live in a world of glass cockpits, but not very many years ago, everybody had, well, they call them steam gauges,
Yeah.
but it's because they're round.
Well, I learned to fly on steam gauges, and I'm pretty comfortable with steam gauges.
I love steam gauges.
Yeah.
That's what I fly.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful interior, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the interior was put in it when I purchased it. The interior was already installed.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, and yes, both of these are gold wing doors.
Yeah, gold wing doors on both sides.
Interesting.
So you just hop up on the wing and then climb in.
And man, that nose is long and slick looking,
Yeah, it is.
isn't it?
It is, and there's plenty of room in there.
Inside the panel, I mean, under the cowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The engine starts about here and goes out. So you've got all this room to work on it. It's
Nice,
very, very easy to work on.
nice.
And
Well, you could put a 540 in here, you said, like homing, you could up to.
Most of them had 540s. About 260 horsepower, carbureted 540s.
That's a lot of engine for one of these.
Yeah, it's a lot of engine. You can do aerobatics with them as long as they're, not too stressful. I've done rolls with this,
Yeah?
and let's see. It's a very strong airplane. I think it's five positive and 3.5, 4 negative. So
Wow.
it's a very strong airplane. It's not going to come apart.
Well, I'm going to back up and get a overall view of it, because it is
Okay.
really sleek looking if you look at a distance. Again, this thing retracts and is aerobatic, and it's just a interesting airplane and a pretty rare airplane.
Yeah, when the DAR came to inspect it, he said he was looking at the seams and everything. He said, "God, I've seen glass airs that aren't as have such close tolerances as this plane, and this plane's made out of wood."
Well, it looks like you'd have a hard time slowing it down. Being me, a pilot, when you're coming in, it looks pretty slippery to me.
Yeah, it's got these big flaps that actually, if you get low, you can see they go all the way through the fuselage.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Well, there's a reason he designed that in, trying to slow it down, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Look at that. Huh.
When I took my first demo ride in the Barracuda, in the prototype with Geoffrey Siers, he slowed the plane down, and he kept slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down, until the airspeed needle wouldn't go any lower. it was at 45.
Wow.
And it was just hanging there, but it was still flying.
Wow.
He said, if you put full flaps and stall this thing, he said, it's going to just drop like a rock.
Really? It doesn't drop a wing, it just drops a nose.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he said, best not to do that. But that's with full flaps. But otherwise, it's very docile, easy to fly plane.
Huh.
It's got these big fat wings, and it's a nice plane. It's an easy plane to fly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's very nice. Anything else to add?
Well, there's probably a lot to add. I can't think of everything now, but.
Well, that's fine. I could put them in comments, you know, if you think of anything we may have missed, but that's about it. Thank you, Jeff. This is a beautiful airplane. Matter of fact, it's probably one of the prettier airplanes I've made a video on.
Okay.
And if anybody has any questions, put them in comments.
Yeah, and we'll answer them.
And we'll answer them. And
you can still find these for sale in various states of construction.
Really?
And some flying. A friend of mine just bought one, and it's got a Franklin engine in it with a 220 horsepower. And then another friend of mine in Cincinnati had one of these with a 540. And let's see. There are a lot of them that are built that are just sitting in hangars because people love building them, and it took so long for them to build it that they're now too old to fly them. But anyway, it's a very unique airplane and an incredible design, and you owe that to Geoffrey Siers.
Very good. And remember, if you like this video, press like and subscribe, and we'll be glad to answer any comments. Thank you for watching.